Hey all, so this is Prashant Choubey, your host for Figuring Out podcast, and you're watching the 6th episode of this podcast. Through this podcast, our aim is to get to millennials and teenagers and help them get more context about what to do in life. And we get this through people who are already in the industry, helping people out. And today we have just the right person to talk about this. Anurag Maloo, head of Techstars South and Central Asia, and he is just the right person to talk to if you want to get into entrepreneurship. He has mentored like thousands of startups across Asian countries, and even from school students to maybe 30-year-olds, all age groups he has mentored. And recently, like he even did a startup weekend at Pulwama, Kashmir, and like that was really incredible. Congratulations on that. Okay, so I'd like turn it over to you right away and like give us a very a quick roundup and background of where you came from and how did you get into what you got into and what are you presently doing?
Okay, there are a lot of things, but first of all, thank you for having me, Prashant.
Pleasure.
Where I got what I got, it's just a lot of stories over the years. I think that brings you today what you will get to do. Mostly what I do currently, I think I'll talk about that first. I currently in my role, I work at Techstars, that is the worldwide network that helps entrepreneurs succeed. And at Techstars, I take care of the community and ecosystem development in India, South Asia, Central Asia, in this region. So I get to work with entrepreneurs and great community leaders in overall Asian region. Mm-hmm. And when I say building communities and ecosystems, it's anything that can help an entrepreneur in this region. Mm-hmm. So creating an enabling environment and facilitating that can help an entrepreneur succeed in their journeys. Mm-hmm. From very early stage till IPOs, from mentoring to funding to education to learning, at every stage how we can help them. And that's what I've been doing from over 4.5-5 years working with Techstars in this role. How I look at my role is literally democratizing access to any entrepreneurial opportunity. Mm-hmm. For everyone, mm-hmm. each one of every person in this region.
Looking at your story, how you planned and charted out your way through it, I observe one thing, that you stress really hard on the fact that you should take your learning onto your own hands, right? And through volunteering and doing internships and all of these things, you learn a lot more than you do by sitting in a classroom. So that's something that our viewers should really learn out of this when they're watching this, to take your learning into your own hands, go out there, volunteer for things, work on different things, try to touch as many lives as possible. Yeah, so very good learning there. Also, now tell me, what's the one thing that you have observed that really stands out in a person and should be there as a trait in one who wants to do well in this age? What's the one trait?
One trait I think always is being humble. Whether it's your learning, being humble about even your learning, being humble about your growth, being humble about your achievements. Mm-hmm. Just being humble and having that humility. I think it's very, very important in every stage of your life.
Right. Also, you must have been at the receiving end of a lot of stories, having been worked with so many startups across countries. And as people say, at startups, it's about selling stories, right? So what's the most amazing story that you have heard or come across while working with Techstars and building communities? Do you remember one story that you can share?
I will tell something recent which I get to hear in Pulwama actually, in Kashmir, when I was doing a startup weekend with school kids. That was one of the most inspiring startup weekends for me. Mm-hmm. Where I got to learn so much and witness have a first-hand experience of Kashmiri lives and the students there. And one common observation across all the pitches, so we had 65 participants and all of them pitched, 68 or 65 participants and all of them pitched, and amongst them 80% female participation, and one common pitch was the pain point which female goes to was not equal opportunity. As a female, the challenges in the community they face around not having equal opportunity between boys and girls, between how societies keep them so closed and don't want them to pursue their own dreams. So all these problems, when you are listening to these young girls, and it was like, how do we get access to these opportunities? How do we go and explore the world? How do we like take charge that we can also do it? We have something to show. And these kids were working on like building startups and dreams around these, solving these problems, around how they can be their own voice. So there were a startup on education, a startup on women empowerment, like Women Empower, and there were startups on like how do you do this, build this motivation amongst kids? How do you help them speak up? They were like, and that's where I realized all the kids were able to identify their pain points. And the conviction was so strong for them to work on that now.
So what would be your advice to the average teenager, or maybe to yourself if you go back then there? What would you advise to yourself as a teenager? Like how should you chart your plan, and what should be your attitude towards life at this point?
Curious, like really curious, be curious, out to learn new things, having that like internal curiosity that allows you to be a lifelong learner. Learn new things, new skills, move out of your comfort zone is the key. That's what my biggest learning, I think, that helped me adapt to it, is moving out of my comfort zone.
So tell me the craziest thing you have done so far, the craziest thing.
What do you mean? What do you want to know? I have done a lot of crazy things, I think.
As in breaking the rules, breaking the stereotypes, going against people?
Couple of things, I think. As expected, every family expect, if you have asked you to become an engineer, you would expect you to pursue that, join Google and Microsoft and all of these companies are. And when every friend of yours joining, and you change it and you go into a low-end classroom and teach young kids since 2nd, 3rd grade, I think some people think that is also crazy. Those years, some people think for an Indian, the craziest thing you could do is to travel to Pakistan, and I think that was the first country I traveled to, so that could be craziest thing. That's known as the most dangerous place for Indian to travel to, or either it could be the most naturally dangerous place to travel to a human being is Antarctica, and I traveled there also. That's how I think my traveling journey started. So if I know, every time I have put myself into doing things offbeaten and different, and I think those crazy things have not just been the craziest things in life, but I think the things that has changed me so much for today and played a huge role in today, making me today whoever I am, and it has shaped the next thing for me, you know. And
but like, how did you convince your parents for like going to Pakistan?
Not just Pakistan. I think how I look at it, how do I convince my parents to let me do everything I wanted to do?
Yeah, that's something like we all struggle with, how to like convince parents to do things we want to do. Yeah.
No, I totally relate with it. It was never an easy, I don't say that it's been an easy egg. But the important thing is to empathize with your parents, and I think not blame them for it. I don't blame them actually. I see my parents today as my biggest strength.
Yeah, that's true.
And but it has happened over years of hard work of building trust with them. It's making them understand your dreams, making them understand who you are, and also telling them that you'll be fine. Every parent loves their children, and they want to make sure of your safety, and they want to take care of your well-being, and if you can assure them that trust that you'll be fine, that's all, because they want to support you in their journey. So I think finding a common ground as teenagers, as young people, we have that rebellious nature. नहीं ऐसे कैसे कर दिया आपने, like आपने मना कैसे कर दिया, मैं तो करूँगा ही. I think that's fine, but उसको channelize करना is very very important. मेरे में भी था, like channelize करना है मुझे उसको. मैं भी अभी भी करता हूँ. ऐसा नहीं है कि I don't get mad at my parents or don't get angry. I do certain times, but at the same time, understand them, empathize them, understand where they are coming from, make them understand in the language they will understand. Right? You want them to be your biggest advocate, be your biggest cheerleader, biggest supporter.
Right.
You need to work hard. It doesn't come that easy.
Yeah.
They have been the first investors in my life,
That's true.
in each one of our lives. And how do you, like
it's almost like you're convincing an investor to take up a...
Yeah, and they are the first ones. I think that's how I look at my biggest even achievement, is like parents being my biggest supporter in letting me do what I do.
Right.
From everyone in the society pushing them and asking them, what is this person doing? What is your children doing? What are your kids doing?
Right.
Why is he doing these things? Don't he have senses? Is he out of his mind कि engineering नहीं कर रहा है और अब इसको जाके teacher बनना है? Parents में initial रहता है उनका, like even they trust you, is just the people around them.
That's true. Yeah.
Create layers, and they actually create barriers. It's not just your parents.
Yeah.
I think I've realized I can convince my parents, but their fear is the people around them.
Yeah.
They think they are questionable and answerable to them,
To the society,
and instead of society,
But
it's not to themselves or to their kids.
Right.
आप उस narrative को change कर दो,
Yeah.
and that happens regular. छोटी छोटी चीजें. Choose the battles you want to fight.
Right.
Don't just like हर चीज में argue करना है उनसे. Everything they say is like नहीं वो तो नहीं होगा, वो तो नहीं करेंगे. Either you decide you want to prove them everything wrong in everything,
Right.
or either you walk with them and helping them walk with you in this journey.
True.
So what I did is just, I think, building the trust that we are speaking the same language.
Right.
We are on one side, we are not on two different sides. Parents are part of this journey with me,
Right.
who has given me, I think today I am because of them. And everything I am is because of my mom and my parents and the opportunities they have given me, from letting me teach to letting me visit Pakistan. Today they don't stop me to go there.
Okay.
Today they know that I have great friends there. They have spoken to people from there.
Okay.
Once I come back, I change the narrative. I share great positive stories of my experiences and friendships and all. And then they're like, oh wow, you're making them part of the journey. You're sharing great things.
Right.
They feel convinced. They feel like they can trust now. You'll be safe. You'll be fine. All of those things, right? And that happened whether it's traveling to even Afghanistan, traveling to Antarctica, where I had to sign a document that I take the responsibility of life, whatever happens.
Right.
A week before I remember a week before I was going to Antarctica, I had not even money that I've been able to raise then and all of that. And there was a ship that got sunk in Antarctica, and at the time they saw it in newspaper. They didn't even inform me. They didn't told me, because they're like, if it has to happen to this, he has been working so hard day in and out for months and months.
Right.
If it has to happen, it'll happen. We can't even stop now.
Right.
And let's give him his chance to live his dreams. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. So,
Okay, so
that ownership,
Yeah.
they let me take ownership of the things I want to do.
Yeah.
And I've shown them, I've built enough credibility that I can make mistakes, but I rectify, but at the same time, I succeed. I change the narrative. It's like you break their stereotypes and they will believe you. That's what I think.
Okay, that's really interesting. You went to Antarctica for work, or that was something you wanted to do?
Oh, that's a different story. I think we should do that completely other time. But I was invited as a teacher. I was the youngest Indian teacher to visit Antarctica at that time as a fellow. I went there to talk about my work I was doing into the introducing sustainability into classrooms and schools.
Okay.
And yeah, it's incredible how this all came true. But definitely a completely different story. We can do a completely new episode on it.
Yeah, I understand. Also, you told me about how the society matters to our parents, and at the end of it, if we see our environment does influence us a bit as well. So how would you tell us, you are someone who really goes out to people and is really quick in making friends, you have that skill in you. So can you teach us that skill a bit, how to quickly make friends? And
I don't know if there's a skill or if I had it always in me. I don't think so. I'm an extreme introvert. I'm a very close person. always been like that, and but I think putting myself out in the community and interacting with people started very late in life. I always had fear like to talk to people in past, but I can't even have conversations with like people at one point. Like it's so difficult, and especially talking to even like female friends or women, it was just so difficult for me to. It's all out of my comfort zone thing. Like no, I don't want to do this. I will escape. I will avoid. But I think I called my mom once and I asked her, Mom, I need to talk to this person. How should I approach? How should I? And one thing she told me, I was in a different city. I called her from STD booth, like I was in Kota actually studying for IIT and all that. And she's like, the way you talk to me.
Okay.
That's all. And that's where I learned, have a conversation. Be as genuine and as authentic. Don't wear a mask. Just be yourself. And that's what I studying. If you're funny, if you're ridiculous, if you're like annoying person, whoever you are, just be yourself actually.
Oh yeah, great.
Accepting yourself is the key here first. And getting comfortable in your own skin where you are not judging yourself for being who you are will allow you to open up, will allow you to be vulnerable. And that happened with me. Have conversations with people, accepting who you are, and I think like shred all the skins you may wear of being someone else. Don't do that. And be genuine, be authentic, have human conversations, and you will make suddenly friends. Now today I can tell you I can walk into any country after having a visa, but I can show up and I can tell you, even if I don't have money or if I don't have anything, I'll be taken care of. So grateful that like have this opportunity that you can have honest conversations with people. You can find homes and families, and you can quickly like just find yourself being one of them.
Coming to that point, like, do you have some hates also? Do you hate something?
Okay, people will generally ask me like, Anurag, like, you're all about like love and happiness, but yes, like you may have like sometimes. So in an ideal world, I think I hardly hate anyone. I want to live my name in literal sense, and Anurag means unconditional love and eternal compassion. And I want to live my name in my thoughts and my behavior and everything I do. So in ideal world, I don't think so I hate anyone. There were times when I had my own stereotypes and biases before I started traveling. And traveling changed the world for me. Traveling, I love meeting people, interacting with people, having great conversations with people from around the world. Like, I think I hardly hate anyone. Yes, I dislike some people. I dislike negative energies. People who create negative environment and negative energies around you, who suck your energies away in a manner that make you drain, that don't add any value. There are like people who need my energies, I'll give there, but at the same time there are just people who are always just about sucking energies and spreading negativity. I think I'll take steps back and go away from there because it's not the people I want to interact with. So I think I will say I don't hate them, but I dislike being around in those negative energies, if that answers your question.
Yeah, it does. Also, have you gone through this phase of life, like millennials will relate to this. We have this depression kind of a thing wherein we feel low for a very long period of time because of any reason, maybe academic score or maybe relationships or anything. Have you gone through that phase? If yes, then how did you deal with that?
Oh, yes, I think I remember once when I think I realized it for the first time. It was when I've always been like grade 1, like first ranker, second ranker, topper in the school in academics in my school and college. When you're always been that high achiever or top scorer, and then suddenly you get a shock of failure. And my first shock of failure was getting what do you call college mein hota hai na, when we get backlog. So I got backlog in my third year, in my 5th, 6th semester for the first time. And I was like, what? And that's where I got in depression. 4 backlogs, 2 in 5th semester, 2 in 6th semester, and like I used to teach those subjects to other friends in college. They've scored well and I got backlogs. Tum to ye baat karte the and tum to fail ho gaye. It's like, you know,
everyone is going just against. After that, when you get into the negative zones and everything started going wrong, I'm not able to uplift myself. But I think during that phase, I joined this program at Let's Make a Difference in Panchgani Initiatives of Change, where I was asked to look into my own life and evaluate myself, compare myself with myself.
Right.
With 4 values of love, purity, honesty and unselfishness. And when I start evaluating my life, doing a lot of quiet time, listening to my own inner conscious and voice, I realized I don't have to compare myself with anyone else, and accepting that failure in that moment that it has happened, accept it. Okay. I think with that acceptance, it started changing. Okay. Accepting that I was in depression, and that is the first step, acknowledging that depression or acknowledging that failure, that it's just one phase in life. And now it's in your hands if you want to make sure this becomes your whole entire life, or it stays as just one phase in your life and you move on. Right. And I think I took a pause and really started taking care of myself and healing, that it's a phase and it will go away. I can't let rest of my, it's just 20 years of my life, and I can't let of my another whatever number of years I'm alive and gonna do things in that depression state. How do I change? By healing yourself, by nurturing yourself, by generating that self-love, that it's okay. And you can always succeed, you can again rise up. And I think that journey of accepting failure and transitioning and finding smaller successes and celebrating it helped me again gain back my confidence, helping me get back that happiness again, that okay, I can do better, I'm doing better. And then creating a positive circle of friends around you who can help you and navigate in this journey. We're not here to keep demotivating you and keep bogging you down, but instead hold your hand and help you walk through this. And creating that community who is there to advocate you, who is there to help you, it's very, very important. So I think that's how I got rid of that depression, and then again just taking charge, ownership again, that I can succeed and doing it, making it happen. It happens at times when you feel loneliness, but find people around you. And sometimes it's okay to be lonely, but make sure you can't let yourself stuck into that depressing state. Reach out. Asking for help is the biggest thing you can do in that time to yourself. It's not that asking for help makes you weak. Asking for help is a big thing. It's a courageous act you can do. Because knowing that you can't do everything yourself. Sometimes we need that external support to help us find that internal support even within ourselves. So and also being positive. Really, really optimistic that I'm doing better, I can do better, I'm feeling better and I can do better. At the same time, you acknowledged your depressing state, you also acknowledge the good that is happening, coming to you, you're receiving that. So it's really about being truthful to yourself, telling the universe that you're getting better, attracting positive energies, giving back those positive vibes, that changes the narrative.
Amazing. So the really valuable lessons out there, which will be really useful for this age group especially. We go through a lot of things, and be it academic or be it on personal things, we also have to deal with parents who
parents, girlfriends, boyfriends, breakups, all of that failure.
All of that happens. So
remember, it's a phase and it'll pass on. There is this always saying, after sunset there is sunrise, after night there is again the day, right? There is this morning. So it's just waiting for you there. So prepare yourself, get yourself ready for the next morning that is coming to you, Don't get stuck
so the key is to acknowledge that you're low at this point, but you'll get up. So that's what is really important. Okay, so this episode I really enjoyed recording with you, this one. and like you threw some really amazing knowledge bombs at us, which are going to explode into us and help us better as individuals, to me and the viewers as well.
I hope that's
yeah, and you like seriously dealt and dwelled into the problems that we genuinely face, coming on to depression, coming on to dealing with parents, and a lot of other things, coming on to talking about startups and the cool thing that is right now. So really glad to have you on for this, and especially thanks for taking the time out of your busy schedule. Like I really struggled to get him onto this podcast. It's been like really long I've been inviting him, so it's extremely thankful to you and gratitude for you to be here with us recording and spreading the knowledge and experience you have gathered through the years. Thank you so much, and we'll wrap this up at this point. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me and listening to this, and I'm really looking forward to see how it comes and share your feedback.
Yeah, like, comment, subscribe, the usual. Thank you so much.